Hello everybody, this is Steve Namaseevayum from iPass here. I'm the Senior Global Director for our Supplier Relationship Management team, and today I'll be giving you a presentation on the network. Okay. Just in terms of a few housekeeping items, a link to the recording will be sent out to all attendees at the end of the presentation. If you would like to receive a copy, can you please contact your account manager or the email address at the end of the presentation as well. And if there are any questions, we'll be doing two things. You can either submit those via the chat feature, or there's also a hand up feature in the chat feature as well. And again, we'll do all those at the end. Okay, thank you. So just jumping in, for those of you that don't know too much about iPass, I'll just provide a quick summary of what we do. But essentially, iPass, we're a Silicon Valley, and we provide a mobile connectivity, essentially, to 57 million hotspots around the globe. We make that connectivity simple, secure, and always on for any device. Okay. Before we actually jump into what the footprint looks like today, we thought it would be useful just to provide some definitions around sort of how we categorize hotspots. So we have these three definitions here. Commercial hotspot, which is essentially a commercial venue such as an airport or a hotel that quite often will charge for the access. Community hotspots, which are pretty much residential home hotspots. Typically, the access point is broadcasting two SSIDs, one for the homeowner and the other for public roaming consumption. And then open access, which is the iPass curated footprint as well. So iPass has technology which is able to basically curate onto free amenity Wi-Fi. In terms of how our footprint looks today, and the categories I've just outlined, we stand at around 57.8 million hotspots. You can see the commercial footprint here at nearly 1.9 million, the community footprint at nearly 36 million, and then we've managed to curate around 20 million hotspots. Okay. And then we thought it would be useful just to track the growth over the last few years. So 2013, we were down near 2.2 million, and where we are today at the 57.8 million. And then here we just have a global map of where the hotspots are, just to give you a sense as well of how we cover the globe. So today we're in 120 plus countries with those 57 million hotspots. And then just back to breaking down the category types again. You can see in terms of airports, for example, we are present in 780 airports. We're actually approaching more towards 3,000 in-flight aircraft, Wi-Fi jets, 800 plus trains, which we'll talk about a bit later as well, and then nearly 85,000 hotels. And then on this slide, we're just giving you a snapshot of some of our key network partners that we work with around the globe as well. Again, we have about more than 160 of these in our network. And here we'll just talk a little bit about in-flight Wi-Fi. It's a very important part of our business. One thing that we've publicized over the years, probably for more than 5 years now, we've been working with GoGo as a strategic in-flight Wi-Fi partner. So they enable 2,700 planes for us today across these airlines. So iPass customers can have access to these services. And we also work with Panasonic, so they're powering 300 plus planes for us today across these airlines. And then in other regions of the world, in APAC, for example, we're working with these airlines here, so Singapore, Japan Airlines, Garuda, China, and so on. And North America International as well with Delta and American. I mentioned trains earlier, so this has actually been something we've been quite successful with in terms of adding footprint over the last few years. So you can see who some of these train operating companies are. Tends to be quite a popular service. So we're trying to add more in this area as well, which we'll talk about a bit later. And hospitality. So these are just you know, some of the brands that we're working with in terms of iPass enablement. And I guess that's more of a sort of snapshot of where we are today in terms of what's coming down the line. We have, before the end of the year, we'll probably add 1 million additional hotspots in the US. And something we actually publicized a few months back is that we signed an agreement, a strategic partnership with United Airlines. And the start of that partnership will be that we'll be enabled on 750 their domestic aircraft in the US. So today we're in the process of the technical integration, and we plan to launch that service in Q1 of next year. Okay. So as a result of some of the contracts that we've signed throughout the course of this year, once the contract's signed, we go into an integration process. So here we're just giving you a snapshot of some of the footprint that our technical teams are working to integrate into the footprint. So you can see in the US, actually that's the 750 number is the United Airlines number. But you can see that we also have footprint that we're trying to integrate now in Mexico, Germany, Singapore, Malaysia, and India. Okay. And then in terms of footprint roadmap, let's say, and the targets that we would like to add into the network in the Americas. This slide is just showing you some of the markets and the numbers involved. So in the US for 2017, we're targeting another 1.62 million hotspots. You can see our growth plans for Canada, Mexico, and Brazil. As we write this as well, we're also assessing Argentina as another market to bring into the fold. Okay. And then in EMEA, you can see the targets we have here across the various European countries. So we're looking to add some significant numbers in the Netherlands, UK, Germany, Belgium, and Switzerland, and also in Spain and Portugal. And finally, in Asia Pacific, we're targeting quite a few markets here. I think in terms of priority, the top two that we're looking at are Australia and India. So we have several partners in India, for example, that we prioritized. We've just been completed an exercise, a sourcing exercise here, where we've looked at all the partners in India, and we've basically shortlisted down to a few of the ones that would have the most attractive footprint. So we'll probably try to find 3 or 4, and we believe that coming out of that we would end up with 60,000 hotspots. Similarly for Australia, there are 1 or 2 targets there that we would like to get as well. And you can see for China some large numbers. Today we already in China work with the 2 largest providers, China Mobile and China Telecom, and there's 1 other that we would like to add there. Okay. And then just touching on hospitality and in-flight Wi-Fi, we are throughout the course of next year, I think there'll be some growth, especially in the US markets, targeting 3 or 4 key strategic hospitality partners to bring in the fold. So if we're successful in doing that, we hope to bring in 2,600 additional hotels into the footprint, especially in the US. Okay. And then we also have 1 further in-flight target that we would like to bring in that has just under 400 jets today. So I've talked, I guess, fairly extensively about the iPass commercial footprint. At the start of the presentation, I did mention some of our open access hotspots, the 20 million number. This slide is really just talking to the technology that allows us to curate. We call it, the platform is called iPass Smart Connect. So effectively what the technology is doing here is basically finding hotspots which are free amenity Wi-Fi, and it's able to basically curate through the user journey and bring those into the iPass fold as well. Okay. So that really sort of concludes the presentation. If you would like to receive a copy, the email address is here. Other than that, I think we can start to deal with any questions that come through the chat, or if anybody would like to talk, please raise your hand on the chat feature and we'll take the questions. Okay, so nothing's come through so far, so if anybody would like to raise anything, please do. Otherwise, I think we're set. So again, the presentation is recorded. The link will be sent out to all participants. And again, if you would like a copy of it, please contact your account manager or the email address here, or if you know me, feel free to reach out. Okay. Well, thank you for your time. That concludes today's presentation. And okay.